My mom died when I was a little child. Before she died, she gave my uncle, her brother, the engagement ring their grandma bought for her to save for me if I, 20 male, ever wanted to give it to a future fiance or daughter. My dad remarried 3 years later, and his wife had 2 daughters, Evelyn, now 23 female, and Amy, now teen female. I'm not all that close to either Evelyn or Amy, but there are no hard feelings there. Evelyn was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer last month. Her boyfriend proposed to her, and she had mentioned wanting my mom's engagement ring because of how pretty it was. Her boyfriend told my dad's wife, and my dad's wife told my dad. All 3 of them told me Evelyn wanted the ring and said I'd get it back in a few months when she's gone, but it would be nice to fulfill this wish of hers, given the circumstances. I said she could not have the engagement ring, but I would give them a photo to replicate it if they wanted it. They didn't like that I said no to giving her the ring. They told me I was denying my dying sister a family ring. I told them she was not my sister, and it was not her family ring. It's my family's ring. Evelyn has nothing to do with the ring. I asked how she even knew about it, and Dad said she had seen photos of it over the years, and that he showed her the drawings that were made of the ring and the photos that my mom had kept around. He thought showing the girls was a nice bonding moment when they were young. My dad's wife pleaded with me. She even had Evelyn write a letter for me to read, saying how much she'd love to wear it and get married wearing it. My answer is still no. Now I'm getting crap from the 3 of them, Dad, his wife, and Evelyn's fiance, but I haven't talked to Evelyn in several months, if not close to a year, and I wasn't moved by the letter she wrote enough to give it to her either. Am I the idiot? So you're not even close to her, but they want your stuff? That's not how it works. Not the idiot. I think it tells you something that Mom left the ring with her brother rather than her husband when she passed away. It was probably to avoid a situation like this. It's sad that stepsis is ill, but that doesn't oblige you to lend her the ring. The offer to give a photo for a replica to be made is a good compromise, since her only connection to it is that she thinks it's pretty. The fact that OP's dad showed pictures and drawings of the ring shows that he would have given it to either of them in a heartbeat. Even if she didn't have cancer, they would have asked for it because bonding over showing the pictures is just weird. I'll never get over the entitlement of some people in these stories. They're insane. Using the "it's a family heirloom" is ridiculous. It's OP's mom's family. They never would have even been family if OP's mom hadn't died. They need to wrap their brains around that, because that shows how little right they have to that ring. OP, you will not get that ring back, but her fiancé or mom will say it means so much to them. Let's not forget that if he gets the ring back, it'll be too hard for his father and wife to see it on another girl's finger. It'll be heartless for him to do it with his sister's memory and use her ring. Man, don't do it. Don't lend the ring. She has no emotional connection to this. At best, fiancé's just trying to get out of buying a ring. At worst, you'll never get this back. Her boyfriend told my dad's wife, and my dad's wife told my dad. All 3 told me that Evelyn wanted the ring. Here's your answer. Your dad, stepmom, and stepsister's fiancé figured out how to get her a beautiful engagement ring free, and having the dying woman write a letter begging for the ring? This is all just so gross. Talk about emotional manipulation. The ring is yours. You've said no. End of. Any guilt tripping they do, regardless of their noble intentions, is an idiot move. Make sure your uncle knows how to keep it safe. My brother passed away 2 years ago, leaving behind his wife and 2-year-old son. He was the main breadwinner, so sister-in-law has been struggling, but my mom and I help her out as much as we can. This past weekend, I had tickets for a concert with my boyfriend in the city that I've really been looking forward to. Sister-in-law asked me to watch my nephew so she could run some errands. I agreed, but I told her I had a train I needed to take and what time I needed her to be home by. That time came and went. I called her multiple times with no answer. My train came and went, By the time she got home, it would make no sense for me to go. It'd be over by the time I got there. My boyfriend was waiting for me in the city and never went to the concert because he didn't want to go without me since I was so excited for it. Both tickets were wasted. When she got home, she apologized and said she just had so many errands to run that she lost track of time. She said she never gets a chance to get things done because she works 2 jobs and has a ton of things to get done. She once again said sorry and offered to cook me dinner. I declined and went home. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. So the next day, I texted her, asking if she could reimburse me for the tickets. She replied that she simply didn't have the money and was struggling, and once again, she was very, very sorry. I asked my mom to say something to her, but she won't. She asked me to just drop it because sister-in-law is a widow and has it hard enough and is struggling enough. She said if the worst thing in my life is missing a concert, I'm lucky, and I have no idea how hard sister-in-law has it. My boyfriend thinks she should pay, and he's pretty mad about it because he paid for his own ticket, so we're both out of money. But also sister-in-law is struggling and trying to take care of my nephew alone. Not the idiot. Your sister deliberately abused your kindness by ignoring your calls and not returning on time. If she won't pay for the tickets, let her know you won't babysit again. Then stick to it. Tell your mom that if she doesn't want your sister to pay for the tickets, she could cough up the money. Being a widow isn't a free pass to take advantage of others' kindness. I know it sucks for her, but this was super rude, and she's acting very entitled. She broke an agreement with you, violated your boundaries, and really didn't seem to care because she expects you to just keep bending over for her. If it was something that wasn't in her control, like the bus broke down, that would be one thing. But the truth is, she knew what she was doing. You called her over and over, and she didn't answer. Stop being her doormat. Take your boyfriend's side. Don't involve your mom. It's not her business. You are the idiot for that part. I wouldn't blame OP for going to her mom. Her mom should have been on OP's side and told sister-in-law that what she did was unacceptable and that she needs to pay OP the money back. Her mom is an idiot for not siding with OP. I suspect, though, mom is worried about eventually being cut off from or severely limited to access to her grandson and is therefore desperate not to alienate her former daughter-in-law. This has caused drama I was not expecting. I have 2 children with my ex-husband, Will. Penelope, tween female, and Johnny, younger tween male. A few years ago, I remarried Chris. We have a baby girl together, Lila. Penelope and Johnny live primarily with their father, as he's closer to their school. They come to us on the weekends. Penelope is in the theater program at her school. I missed the fall shows because I was in labor and had a newborn. Penelope understood as best a preteen girl can. Her spring show opened last week. Chris and Lila came with me. Will, Johnny, and Will's wife, Ariana, were already there. Will saw I brought Lila and got a weird look about him, but Ariana hushed him and said, "Just let it go." Lila slept through the first half. A little before intermission, she awoke and was fussy. I began rocking her and trying to calm her while watching the play. I got a few dirty looks from other parents around me. I gave them a "what can you do" shrug, as it's a baby. At intermission, Will suggested Chris take Lila home. I said she should sleep during the second half, and Chris said he wanted to watch the performance. Will started getting upset, but again, Ariana had him walk away. Lila did fall asleep again, but halfway through Act 2, she woke up and started screaming. It was loud enough this time to catch the performers off guard. I quickly went into the lobby with Lila. However, when I tried to go back in once she calmed down, the usher wouldn't let me, saying once a person leaves, they're not allowed in to prevent interruptions, meaning I missed Penelope's solo. Penelope refused to see me after the show, nor accept the flowers we bought for her. I watched her leave with Ariana, who was consoling her. Will met me in the parking lot. He was angry. He said I never should have brought Lila, pointing out he and Ariana got a sitter for their young child. I said I didn't want to leave Lila and felt it was good we were all supporting her. After missing the fall show, I wanted to be there for my daughter. I added it was just a middle school performance. It wasn't the end of the world. He gave me a disgusted look and walked away. Penelope is yet to answer my calls or text. This weekend, she refused to come over. Chris thinks that we were in the right, but my parents are just as angry and called me an idiot. Am I the idiot for bringing my baby to her sister's performance? My baby and her sister's? You mean your baby and your daughter's performance? OP, the huge stink in the room is you, and you are the idiot. You can tell how little you prioritize your daughter by the title alone. You are clearly favoring your new family, OP. No wonder the kids live with Dad. My baby's sister. Yeah, wow, that's disgusting. You are the idiot. Penelope did not feel good or supported that your infant with your new husband was so loud she distracted the actors, and that you ultimately missed her solo to care for her. You should have gotten a sitter, or at the absolute least, taken her home when she started becoming distracted. It's also amazingly crappy to say it's not the end of the world that you ruined something so important to your daughter. You owe your daughter a massive apology for being selfish. Exactly. She's going to be hearing about this the rest of the school year. She's a tween and probably mortified that her mom brought a screaming infant to the play. You are the idiot, OP. Chris should have left during the break with her. You watching the play is way more important than him watching the play. You should have gotten a babysitter for a few hours to properly support your daughter. The fact that she's refusing calls and visits makes me think that there are more than a few missed plays due to labor and newborn. Screaming baby Lila didn't know what was going on and certainly wasn't supporting her sister. And if you insisted on bringing her, Chris should have held her and been prepared to step out if she got fussy so that you didn't miss any part of Penelope's performance. You sent a loud and clear message that your new family with Chris is more important than your older children. I, 35 male, recently returned from a trip with some old university friends, 3 men and 4 women, including myself. It was just a small thing, and we went up to the countryside and did some hiking like we did when we were younger. Before each hike, I let one of my friends, who we'll call Maddie, braid my hair to get it out of my way. This was because, 1, I'm hopeless at doing this kind of thing, and 2, we used it as a bit of time to chat and relax. I just want to stress that we had no intimacy or romanticism. It was literally her just plaiting my hair. When I got home, I showed my wife some of the pictures and told her about how it was a great time. In one of these pictures, you can quite clearly see my braid, to which my wife asked, "Where did you learn to do that?" I explained to her that Maddie was doing it for me before we started walking, thinking that this was normal and wouldn't sound off any alarms. Apparently, this isn't a normal, friendly activity, as my wife thought it was completely out of the ordinary. She asked me all kinds of questions about whether we shared a tent or whether anything more happened, to which I answered no to all. She even contacted some of the people there, quizzing them about Maddie and my relationship. Nothing like this had ever happened before, and her behavior was completely different from usual. She seemed incredibly distant over the past few days and hasn't properly spoken to me since I was called a POS for having my hair braided. So, am I the idiot? So I think that the hair is the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. It isn't the braiding as much as the intimacy. You don't see it as intimate, but it seems your wife feels like she missed out on some intimacy with you somehow. Why didn't your wife go on the trip? There are some missing pieces. Primates groom each other. Maddie isn't a hairstylist, I presume. I guess if Maddie was picking lice out of your fur, it would be a stronger indication of intimacy, but it is what it is. The wife doesn't like other women having their hands on her husband. It really doesn't matter what you or I think of this. Apologize and make a note for next time. Not the idiot, but you might be if you continue to do this thing your wife obviously has strong feelings about. Just out of curiosity, could it be a cultural issue? She went a little extreme contacting others, and if it were cultural, it should have been discussed. I'm Native American, and no woman other than your wife, sister, or mother can braid your husband's hair. OP, you can hike without your hair in your face, but a hair tie could have had the same effect. My mom just lost her housing a week ago and has 30 days to find somewhere else to go. She was on state housing and disability, but it was turned off without warning. We're trying to fight it currently, but as far as I can tell, she's not the only person this has happened to this month. Like, hundreds of elderly are going through this. She has lupus, so she has no job. She's 59. We have a 5-bedroom house, 3 kids who each have their own room, and the 4th bedroom is used as our shared office. I suggested letting my mother move in here and let her stay in our office, which would have to be relocated to the attic. She immediately said, "Heck no, not happening." I remained calm, despite her hostility surrounding the issue bothering me. I tried coming up with every alternative imaginable, and she shot down every single idea. I found it a little weird because she and my mom get along well. I'm pretty sure my mom likes my wife more than she likes me. So I finally snapped and asked her what the problem was and why she was acting so miserable. She snaps back with, "Last I checked, you're fully aware that I refuse to be around your mother's dog. Her dog is not coming here. Her dog is not allowed here. She won't get rid of her dog. Therefore, she has no place here." I honestly hadn't even thought about the dog up until this point. My mom has a Rottweiler who's like 2 years old, and he's a big boy. My wife doesn't like the dog at all. She used to get chased by Rottweilers as a kid, but has never been bitten, so she won't even give the dog a chance. She admittedly doesn't like any dog outside of, like, retrievers, but I still feel like this is rather ignorant. I told her she was being incredibly selfish for being unwilling to help my mother over a dog, and she absolutely lost it. She said that her life is not going to revolve around taking care of my disabled mother and taking care of an untrained giant Rottweiler. She said she's also not chancing having this mutt around our kids while untrained, and she's absolutely repulsed that I'm not seeing how dangerous it could be. We do have small kids. She said I was an absolute idiot, and under no circumstances was she going to put my mother over the well-being of our kids. And if I could do that, I'd better see myself out. I think she's over the top, to be blunt. Am I the idiot? ETA. My wife is in therapy. Therapy doesn't take away fears. She said mom could move in if she doesn't have the dog. My mom refuses. It's my wife's house. She inherited it long before we were married. She works from home full-time and has the kids. I work part-time in the office and part-time at home. This poor wife, she's in therapy. Of course she would have to deal with all, like needing some support is a bad thing. You are the idiot, OP. She works from home full-time and has the kids. How much harder do you want her life to be? Her concerns are valid, and you know full well that if your mother moves in, dog or not, she's never leaving. She absolutely should not have to be miserable in her own home. If your mom is desperate for a place to live, she has no right to make demands of the people willing to help her out. If she won't even temporarily rehouse the dog, she needs to look at other options. And God, I'm wondering what you bring to the table. Not a thing by the sounds of it. Doesn't give a crap about the safety of their kids. Is mean as heck to his wife and acts entitled to his wife's house. I also get the vibe that the wife is expected to care for OP's mom for the rest of her life. What a catch. OP, it sounds like your wife has mostly kept your life afloat in many ways and is drawing the line here. I think you should consider if you'd like to be divorced, fund your own housing, parent full-time for part of the week without her to help you, and take care of your mom solo. Or if you'd like to look into another reasonable housing option for your mom.